Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to learn 5 skill moves by the king of skills, Ronaldinho. So it wouldn't be a Ronaldinho skills video if we didn't mention the elastico, as it's known in Brazil. You might refer to it as the snake or the flip-flap, but it's basically transferring the ball from the outside of the foot to the inside of the foot. So you're throwing that defender to thinking you're going one way, and then you're snapping it to the inside. So you're really dropping your shoulder, dropping your knee to force that defender to go in one way, and you accelerate in the other direction. So let's look at this skill a bit more closely. So step 1 of this skill is pushing the ball out to the side. But you're not just tapping it out to the side, you want to keep in contact with that ball at all times. So you're pushing it as it stays in contact with the foot. So that's step 1. And step 2 is once you've pushed it out to the side, you're going to move that foot around the ball and then hook it to the inside. So it's almost touching the ball at all times throughout the entire movement. It's not a touch and a touch. You're keeping in contact with the ball at all times to push it out to the side and snap it to the inside. So what we're going to do is we're going to practice just doing it on the spot, just getting used to using the outside and inside of that foot. And once we get comfortable with that, we can do it slightly on the move, so little touches. And then once we get really comfortable with it, we can perform it at top speed. The next move we're going to work on is called the hocus pocus. And it's kind of like the elastico. You're using all one foot, keeping in contact with the ball throughout the entire movement. But this time we're putting our planting leg down and the elastico is happening behind that standing leg. So step 1 is pushing that ball with the inside of the foot. So get used to pushing it at an angle behind that standing leg, diagonally in front of you. Step 2 is after you've pushed that ball, you're keeping in contact with all times, and then you're flicking it back out in front of you once again. So it's coming behind that standing leg, and then you're keeping in contact, and then you're hooking it out in front of you once again. So moving on into move number 3, and this is called the scoop turn. So Ronaldinho performed this quite a lot. One of the most memorable ones is when he had 2 players on his back. He was out on the right-hand side in the corner. He had his back to the 2 defenders, and he scooped it round and then flicked it in between the 2 players. The crowd went crazy. So let's look at this one. Again, similar to the elastico moves, we're keeping in contact with the ball at all time. So we're pushing the ball while pivoting 180 degrees. So step 1 is just pushing that ball out with the inside of our foot. So just get comfortable with that. The second step is starting to pivot on our other foot, our standing foot, as we perform this move. This is going to allow us to actually make the turn in order to perform the scoop turn. So as we start to push that ball, we then pivot on the foot, keeping in contact with the ball at all times. So this is a great way to practice it, just turning in a circle like that, because once you can do this, you're going to be able to perform the 180-degree turn as well. But instead of keeping on contact with the ball, you want to scoop the ball at the final second, and this is where you accelerate. So this next move is vintage Ronaldinho. What he does is, typically when he's on the line, he drags the ball back, looks like he's going to L-drag and pass it down the line, and it sends the defenders to the shops, and then he puts his foot on top of the ball and traps it like that. We've seen Ronaldinho do this so many times. It's a very simple move, but can be effective in the right situations. So step 1 is just dragging that ball towards us. Very simply, foot on top of the ball using the sole of our foot and dragging it back. Step 2 is performing the second portion of an L drag. So an L drag looks like this, where we drag it back and out to the side. So step 2 is dragging it behind the standing leg. Now moving into step 3, so we've dragged that ball back, dragged it out to the side, and then we're going to use the sole of our foot to roll the ball and keep in contact with it and roll it all the way onto our toe, stopping it with the top of our foot almost on the laces area. So we drag it behind, push it out, keeping in contact, start making contact with the studs of our boots, and then we roll the ball onto our toe, top of the laces area, like that. So moving on into the fifth and final skill move, and I've seen Ronaldinho use this both to pass the ball to his teammates and also to beat a defender in a 1v1 situation. So what it looks like, he's got his foot on top of the ball, he drags it towards his standing foot, and it's a little touch with the inside of his standing foot, either off into the space, whether he's passing it to a teammate, or if he has a softer touch, he keeps control of it to beat a defender one-on-one. So let's break it down into simple steps. So step one is just dragging that ball towards your standing foot. So just a simple drag diagonally towards that foot that's already planted on the ground. And then step two is when you drag that ball towards the standing foot, as the ball approaches, a little hop and then a little touch with the inside of your planted foot. So drag it and hop and touch it back in the direction you just dragged it from. And whether you're using it to beat a defender or if you're using it to pass the ball, it needs to be a fairly firm touch, so it's almost like a small pass, either to your teammate or off into the space. I've seen Ronaldinho use this one on the line. So the defender's coming in, he drags that ball towards his foot, so the defender thinks he's going to anticipate that movement, and then Ronaldinho hits the ball off into the space again. So it needs to be a firm touch down the line in order to accelerate and leave that defender behind. So let's perform this one a bit quicker now. So we've got the ball, and off we go. So those are the 5 Ronaldinho skill moves I have for you today. Make sure you practice these hundreds of times before ever attempting them in a match so that they come off fluidly. But if you did enjoy this video, make sure you smash that button. Make sure you drop a comment, let me know your favorite player, and I'll hopefully get round to performing all of your favorite players' skill moves in future videos. But smash that like button, hit that subscribe button for weekly training videos, and I will see you guys in my next video.